A great video game mission is like a great movie. It's riveting, it's adrenaline pumping, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. A bad video game mission, though, is like seeing a good movie with a bad crowd. You just want to focus on the good stuff, but you're distracted by screaming children, phones going off, and two people loudly getting with each other in the corner. Unfortunately, though, the same bad quests tend to pop up in even the best video games. You know the ones, the missions that are designed to be lazy, repetitive, and lackluster, the ones that all blur into one blob of busy work that you just can't seem to escape from. Well, they've been given a free ride for too long, and frankly, I'm sick of them. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 truly terrible video game quests we're all sick of.
But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to stay notified. Ding, ding, done.
Number 8. Fetch this, fetch that. Is there a more lackluster type of mission than a fetch quest? Well, I mean, yes, technically there are 7 more because this list is 8 entries long, but we've got to start somewhere. It's right up there with QTEs as lazy basic padding, where the game forces you to do something, anything, just to pass the time, rather than actually wanting to put work into giving you something worthwhile. It's always some kind of MacGuffin that has no real purpose to you, and yes, sometimes it's some good loot, but most of the times you just come across these slackers who don't want to get off their ass themselves and demand you do their busy work for them. I mean, look dude, I'm supposed to be saving the world. I'm not going to do your chores, except I'm gonna have to because that's the only kind of mission there is. Thank you, the developers. Number 7. Kill this dude for reasons? A cursory glance at the top line video games tells us one thing: we bloody like killing things. It makes sense then that in most games there are certain NPCs designed specifically to give you assassination quests where you go out and kill random people for the flimsiest reasons. And by reasons I of course mean, for the most part, no reasons whatsoever. It's just another example of a game needing to provide context for these murders, as if we needed any when we were popping off ridiculous headshots for the past 10 hours anyway. While these basic quests are bad, sometimes adding modifiers can make them even worse, tasking you with killing dudes with a special weapon or doing it without being seen at all. Not only can this be boring, but it can also go against the character you meticulously crafted in your brain up until this point. You might be playing as a kind of pacifist, or at least someone who doesn't want to kill people for the sake of it, and the next thing you'll know you're thrown into this quest tasked with killing a guy who might not even deserve it. Number 6. Real, actual work. Video games are perhaps the best form of escapism, being able to transport you to imaginative worlds that let you forget about your day in, day out problems. At least that's in theory, because this all comes crashing down when they instead decide to give you a real life job inside the game that you're forced to do before you progress. And yeah, don't get me wrong, sometimes that could be the entire point of the whole game, but more often than not, this mission type is crowbarred in to pad out a game without adding anything substantial to the story or characters. Shenmue springs to mind as the prime offender here, but you can line up the likes of Fable, Red Dead Redemption, and pretty much every RPG to the wall alongside it. Hell, even GTA 5 had a pretty sizable section where you just moved around shipping containers like a good little dock worker that you were. And look, we're cool working towards a genuine achievement in video games, but work? I think I might draw the line there. Number 5. Craft this for me more than once, probably. Crafting is a necessary part of, well, pretty much all video games these days, and there's nothing wrong with the tutorial section cluing you in of how each component comes together. You know the drill, you need 12 scraps of sheepskins from round the bins and 20 drops of Jules' tears to create the best goddamn armor the whole video game world has ever seen. In most of these titles there are a lot of rules, and you'd be completely lost if the game didn't show you how to fit them all together, and that's cool. But then these games get greedy. Or lazy, depending on how you look at it. They usually take this one sweet mechanic and use it to pad out hours of gameplay, potentially even adding a collection quest onto it where you need to gather the materials in the first place, only adding insult to injury. They usually task you with getting a certain amount of these as well, usually around 10, because you really need 10 iron daggers filling up your inventory for no real reason. Number 4, the Horde is incoming. People really love a Horde mode. Or at least that's what I've had to assume, because the game type is crowbarred into everything from Gears of War to Call of Duty. And that's a standalone multiplayer diversion. It can be done really well, but when it's implemented into single player games, it can be done extremely lazily. He's an area, defend it, and then defend it over and over again until the game decides that, you know what, we're done here, which is usually 3 rounds after a player gets sick of it to begin with. And like I said, it's not that horde modes are inherently terrible. In fact, they can be great when you're setting up defenses and preparing for an incoming wave of enemies. It's just that so many developers use it to lazily pad out their games without putting any thought into how to expand on the core mechanics. Look, it's been years since it was first popularized in Gears of War, and it's barely been expanded on since. Number 3, escort quests. Look, it's practically a running joke by now that escort quests are dull. This was discovered circa 1991, literally years before I was born, yet developers keep including them in their games despite the constant controversy. After all, who doesn't love running, stopping, and then waiting for your AI partner to claw themselves out of the scenery so you can move on to the next place? Someone must do, right? Likewise, usually your escort will be utterly defenseless, and even if you can give them the weapon, they'll be absolutely useless, meaning you have to stop on your journey to fight every single wave of enemy you come across. And to make matters worse, in games like Dead Rising, you can see them flailing around with a frying pan, doing absolutely nothing but getting themselves killed while you try your very best to get them where they need to go. An inversion of this is the Follow Me There quest, where you essentially become the one who needs escorting, as you have to follow an NPC who moves very slowly to the next location. Come to think of it, that's probably worse. Number 2, go collect X amount of Y for no reason. Hey, you. Yeah, you there. You look like you've got time on your hands. Why don't you pop out to the shops and get me 10 butternut squashes, please? You seem to be doing nothing else. Right, look, did you see how smarmy that was? If I came into your house and told you to do that, you'd rightly call the police. But this is seemingly what loads of NPCs do day in, day out in the best RPGs on the market. You can't move in RPGs like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, or Dragon Age without an NPC walking up to you and asking you to collect an arbitrary amount of things just because they can't be bothered. At their worst, collection quests are just fetch quests to the power of 10, not least because you're usually tasked with finding 10 things to bring back in the first place. These games just love making you drop your day job of chopping off mutant heads so you can look around a forest and try to find some berries for a person you've never met. It's just a tedious grind designed to add context to our random adventures, as if we needed a reason to scale that big-ass mountain other than it would be cool. Number 1, find that special someone. The human version of the dreaded fetch quests. These locate missions are far more obnoxious than their annoying cousins. Your quest giver gives you the task of finding someone who's hiding out across the city, and instead of squarely punching them in the face and telling them no, you oblige and go on this wild goose chase to find a person you've never met. So you travel halfway across the map, finally figure out who it is you're supposed to find, talk to them, and then that's about it. Well, if you're lucky anyway. If you're not, then you'll be tasked with following them back across the city you've just came from, stealthily no mind and without ever being seen. They always walk at a snail's pace as well, and if you're seen even once, then it's right back to the beginning of the quest for you, pal. Occasionally the game will try to shake this up by giving you breadcrumbs or clues to follow, like your Hansel and Gretel or something, but most of the time that just makes it even more tedious. So that's our list. Let me know down in the comments below if there are any quests you're more sick of than these sorry lot. And while you're there, please give us a like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. And you can even head over to whatculture.com for more lists like this every single day. As always, I've been Josh, you've been watching What Culture, and I'll see you soon. Bye.